Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, and today, yes, I am back. We are doing this again, and I'm just giving you guys a little shot of where we left off in the last episode, because we were working on this little area here along the river. We got the, what would you call that, waterside walkway. You got kind of a bit of a shopping area there, nice park. So yeah, and I noticed there's a really big traffic issue, but I think that's just because I built so many houses at one time, so everybody's trying to move in and trying to move around. So I'm not really going to bother with that too much right now, because I assume by the end of the episode it'll all be clear. So we are probably working mostly on the city today, and I actually start off using the new DLC. So I zone it for the new office, which is part of the new DLC, the Green City DLC, and you'll actually see in a second when they start growing, they're really high. And I mean, that's what I've always been really wanting. Like, I always thought some of the buildings were a little bit too short. I always thought there should be higher buildings in the game, so it's about time they really added them into the core game. But the only issue I have with those new office buildings is that the amount of people that work in them, it's really low. Like, for example, one whole building might be like 9 workers, which is really strange to me. I mean, I don't know, it seems really low and a little bit unrealistic, but I don't know, I guess there was a reason why they done that. I don't know. So once again, I do a commercial zoning along the main road, so that can act as a bit of a sound barrier, and then so the residential area is more inside, away from those main roads. And yeah, oh, there's a lot of people there, which is good. So yeah, there's the high office buildings there, which is quite, it's alright. I just think of it as kind of like on Central Park in New York. You got the really nice buildings along Central Park, so that's what I'm thinking of, because that's all going to be park area there in the future. And yeah, so just adding in a little bit more commercial, and then just filling in these little areas. So once again, like using the same technique, I mostly have the commercial along the main road, and then the residential more on the inner part, which is where it's less quiet. So I've mostly put the residential on the smaller, what would you call that, just the small roads, not the boulevard ones most of the time, unless it's a boulevard that is mainly for residential, which is kind of like what I've done there with the boulevard with the trees. So in that particular section that I just zoned, that's going to be the Green City residential part. So we will see how that turns out in the future, hopefully soon. So I was thinking in the next episode I might do a lot of transport related stuff. So a lot of buses, how to do that correctly, getting the subway going. I think I want to put the subway, the subway will be mainly connected in the downtown area, like that'll be the hub and the transport hub, and I just want to branch out the subway to different areas and where I'd put it and where I wouldn't put it. So yeah, that's my plan for next episode, I think, hopefully, if I remember. And yeah, some of the mods are actually missing, which is completely understandable, because every time we get a new DLC, a lot of the mods disappear. So you'll see across the other side of the river, the housing estate, all those buildings have disappeared right now. I don't know why, but I assume I just need to go re-download those again, or actually I think they're still in my list of assets and mods, or whatever you call that. I just need to go click on those and get them back in the game again. So yeah, so some of the buildings might be gone in this episode, but don't freak out, because I'll get them all back soon. So yeah, so we can see it's starting to fill in a little bit, and yeah, lots of traffic coming in. I don't know where they're all going. It looks like they're leaving the city, I'm not sure. So I just changed the priority, so where all the traffic's coming from, I gave them priority in that intersection. So I don't know what's going on there. So I don't know, it's very strange. Anyway, back to the downtown area. Okay, so in last episode, I think I mentioned, or maybe, I don't know if I mentioned it or I was thinking of mentioning it. I don't remember. So I want to do, the plan is to put these type of pathways all along the river, basically everywhere, on both sides. And yeah, so that's what I start to do here. It's demolishing the rocks, but it's not a big deal, I guess. So I want to basically make a pedestrian bike path highway that goes basically everywhere over the city. So you'll notice I start to add lots of little connections so there's easy access everywhere, and then I eventually have to, using the move it mod, someone's going to ask, they always do, the move it mod down in the right hand corner, I lower the height of the pedestrian pathways there, just because I don't want it to be really above the ground level. I kind of want it to be on ground level, so eye level on the pathway and on the ground and on the road, it's all the same. So that's what you'll see me doing right there. So in this part here, I figured I should probably add the pathway over the highway, just so they don't really have to interact with like the pedestrian crossing. So I think it's the smarter move to get it just to go straight over the top, so it's just a smooth transition from one side to the other, because otherwise I feel like if you make everyone have to go down to the pedestrian crossing, it's really making a difference from side to side, if that kind of makes sense, because it's kind of splitting the sides, whereas now there's an easy pedestrian pathway straight over the top, so it's really connecting both sides very easily, and it's also making it really safe. Not that that really matters in the game, but it matters to me and in real life, so that's something that would happen more in real life. So straight over the top, and it's really easy to do it right there because the main road there actually goes down a little bit, the incline goes down, so the pathway can easily go straight over the top without having to do any major increase in elevation. And then so I add in not the pedestrian pathway, what am I saying? I add in the cyclist roads to the side there, so they can just continue on from the pathway along the cyclist pathway to the park. And then on this side I do the same thing as well, and yeah. So these are some of the new green buildings from the new DLC, and if I'm being honest, they don't really look that great yet, but I think that's because out of the 5 levels, they're probably level 1 or 2, so we just have to wait a little while until they upgrade and look a bit better, but yeah, right now they just kind of look very generic. And so once again, fitting in with the theme of the pedestrian highway going everywhere, so of course I'm going to add in more pedestrian access on this side. So I started out by flattening out the landscape area. I didn't want it to be really close to the water, so most of it has like a large bit of land, if that kind of makes sense. And then just for easy access, it'll go straight under the highway and then connect up to the, what would you call that, the cable car? Oh, that's kind of ugly. Yeah, so easy access to the cable car. And then I think from that point, when I connect it to the cable car, I need to find somewhere else to connect it around to, I don't know, future areas in that area. So the pathway definitely won't stop right there. I'll have to continue it on to somewhere else. I'm thinking maybe onto the other side of the river, because if I leave it on that side, it's going to have to go right under the cable car, and I think I'll have to make the pedestrian pathway really, really low, and it might look a bit weird. So anyway, you guys, this is kind of wrapping up the episode. I'm not really doing too much, but I think in the next episode will be more interesting because of all the transport type things. So we're just kind of going over what we've done now. So I kind of like this area because it just seems peaceful with all the trees and just nice pathways going along the river. And I kind of made it a bit curvy just to make it a little bit more interesting. And it kind of reminds me of near where I live, in Brisbane, Queensland, in Australia. So they have a lot of pathways like this along the river that are kind of curvy in some areas, and it kind of reminds me of that. So anyway, that was kind of my inspiration from in Brisbane. So we're just following that little guy, getting his kind of view. Actually, I need that mod where you can see what they see from their level. So anyway, that's a good view like that. Yeah, that looks good. So anyway, yeah, there's still a lot of traffic there. Oh, okay, and there's a big fire. And that's supposed to be like a very luxurious area up there. Oh my god. So I'm pretty sure that burnt one other time as well. That's strange. I guess I need more fire trucks up in that area. But they'll get more facilities once I expand and urban growth happens. So hopefully in the future they won't keep burning as frequent as they do. I kind of neglect this whole area, I have to admit. So maybe it's not so luxurious after all. Maybe it's like the slums of the city right now. So anyway, yeah, so this is Sam's Petersburg so far. So next episode I will talk about some public transport, and I think I'll fill in the park area in that area right there. So thank you guys for watching. Bye for now.